Chris Comas, long regarded as a steadfast and essential figure on 1000 Elb Sisters, suddenly found himself at the center of a controversy that shook both fans and the reality television industry to its core, revealing a hidden layer of tension and exploitation that had quietly existed behind the cameras for years. As the loyal brother of Amy and Tammy Slaton, he had become the linchpin of the family's public persona, a figure whose humor, honesty, and steadfastness provided balance amidst the chaos, turmoil, and dramatic personal struggles of the Slaton sisters, whose own lives had become a magnet for both viewers and media attention. And while Amy and Tammy often captured headlines with their emotional outbursts, health crises, and personal challenges, it was Chris who maintained the stability of the household, managing conflicts, mediating disputes, supporting his sisters emotionally, and even providing comic relief at moments when the tension threatened to overwhelm the narrative. And yet, despite his pivotal role in the show's success and his contributions that went far beyond what most cast members would be expected to give, Chris alleged that TLC had been systematically withholding a portion of his pay, exploiting his dedication and his central role in driving the series' popularity, leveraging his presence to boost ratings while simultaneously undercompensating him for the work, the time, and the emotional labor he had invested. A claim that sent shockwaves through the fan base and raised uncomfortable questions about the treatment of reality television stars more broadly, as audiences who had come to rely on Chris's voice of reason, humor, and accountability realized that the networks they trusted to present authentic stories might have been engaging in practices designed to maximize profit at the expense of those who created the content. And it was in this climate that Chris made the difficult decision to take legal action, filing a lawsuit against TLC that alleged the network had constructed contracts that disproportionately favored the company while binding cast members to conditions that limited their financial freedom and ability to negotiate fair compensation, highlighting what he believed to be a systemic issue affecting not just him, but many other reality television participants who had long been expected to submit to the demands of the industry without complaint. And the lawsuit, which was both principled and personal, aimed not only to recover the remuneration he believed was owed, but also to set a precedent that could empower other stars facing similar situations. And while many fans initially held out hope that TLC might negotiate a confidential settlement to avoid the glare of public scrutiny and the negative PR associated with the case, the network instead mounted a vigorous defense, asserting that Chris's claims were without merit, that the terms of his contract had been transparent from the outset, and that he had willingly agreed to the conditions that he now challenged. And when the court ultimately sided with TLC, dismissing the lawsuit entirely, it marked a severe setback for Chris, both financially and emotionally, as the legal defeat seemed to validate the very system he had sought to challenge and underscored the difficulties that reality stars face when confronting networks with entrenched power structures. Yet even this legal conclusion did not bring closure, as TLC quickly moved to sever ties with Chris, terminating his contract and ensuring his absence from Season 8, a decision that fans perceived as retaliatory and which ignited an immediate wave of outrage across social media platforms, with viewers expressing disbelief, anger, and profound disappointment, arguing that Chris's dismissal represented not just a business decision, but an ethical failure on the part of a network that had benefited enormously from his dedication, consistency, and ability to humanize a show otherwise dominated by sensationalism and drama. And this public response was widespread and fervent, with fans creating trending hashtags, sharing video montages of his most memorable moments, and actively discussing the implications of his removal on the future of the series, framing Chris as a champion of authenticity whose absence left a gaping void, as he had long functioned not only as a mediator within the family, but also as the moral and emotional center that allowed viewers to connect with the show on a deeper level. Recognizing that his contributions went beyond mere entertainment to provide insights into family dynamics, resilience, and the challenges of health, personal growth, and responsibility. And in examining the larger ramifications of his conflict with TLC, industry observers noted that his experience reflected broader issues endemic to reality television, where contractual opacity, unequal power dynamics, and a focus on ratings and profitability often place cast members in vulnerable positions, subjecting them to intense scrutiny, long hours, and emotional strain without commensurate reward. And Chris's case, while specific to his circumstances, became emblematic of the struggles faced by countless reality stars who, despite being central to a show's appeal, remain constrained by legal and corporate frameworks that prioritize network interests over fairness, transparency, and the well-being of the individuals whose lives are broadcast for entertainment. And the narrative surrounding his lawsuit, termination, and the fan backlash also shed light on the unique position of reality television audiences in shaping the fortunes of a series, as public sentiment, social media activism, and the collective response of a dedicated fan base demonstrated a power that could challenge network decisions, influence reputational considerations, and amplify discussions about ethics, labor rights, and the human cost of entertainment. And within this context, Chris's role in the series was understood not merely in terms of screen time or plot function, but as a conduit for emotional engagement, a voice of reason amidst the spectacle, and a symbol of integrity, whose absence raised fundamental questions about the show's capacity to maintain cohesion, emotional resonance, and narrative balance. And the implications extended beyond 1000 LB Sisters, prompting dialogue about the treatment of reality stars across other programming on TLC and similar networks, where stories, personalities, and personal struggles are commoditized, yet often at the expense of those who inhabit them. And as fans debated the ethics of such practices, many expressed concern about the long-term viability of the series, questioning whether it could sustain its appeal without the stabilizing presence of Chris, while others speculated on how TLC might attempt to fill the void through new cast members, increased drama, or narrative restructuring. Yet few believed that any replacement could replicate the unique blend of humor, accountability, and relatability that he provided, and the story also touched on deeper societal questions regarding the consumption of reality television, the expectations placed on public figures, and the ways in which audience loyalty, corporate control, and individual agency intersect in shaping both the content we consume and the experiences of those who create it, highlighting the tensions between spectacle and authenticity, commercial success and ethical responsibility, and the human cost of narratives that entertain millions while exploiting the very individuals whose lives are central to those stories. And in considering the personal dimension, Chris's battle was not simply about money or fame, but about dignity, fairness, and the principle that those who contribute meaningfully to a project should be respected, valued, and heard. And this perspective resonated with fans who had long admired him for his consistency, support of his family, and ability to navigate the complexities of a high-drama environment with empathy and intelligence. And the outpouring of public support reflected a recognition that his contributions had been essential to the series' identity, and that his removal represented a loss that was both narrative and moral, challenging viewers to reconsider their relationship with the show and the network that produced it. While the ongoing discourse also illuminated the ways in which reality television operates as a microcosm of larger societal dynamics, where power, loyalty, advocacy, and audience engagement intersect, revealing the pressures, rewards, and consequences inherent in lives lived partially in public. And as the dialogue continued across social media, fan forums, and news outlets, Chris's story became a focal point for discussions about accountability, corporate responsibility, and the ethics of entertainment, illustrating that even when legal mechanisms fail to provide redress, the court of public opinion can assert influence, shape narratives, and hold organizations accountable in ways that transcend formal proceedings. And this multi-layered impact demonstrated that Chris's experience was significant not only for the immediate implications for 1000 LB Sisters, but also as a case study in the broader dynamics of fame, labor, and fairness in reality television, providing lessons for both industry professionals and audiences about the value of integrity, the risks of challenging established systems, and the enduring power of authenticity to resonate with viewers and catalyze discussion. And it became evident that Chris's absence from Season 8 was not merely a production detail, but a symbolic event, one that foregrounded issues of equity, representation, and respect, reminding fans and insiders alike that the individuals whose lives are depicted on screen are real people with genuine stakes, and that their treatment reflects both the moral compass of the networks that employ them and Chris Comas, long regarded as a steadfast and essential figure on 1000 Elb Sisters, suddenly found himself at the center of a controversy that shook both fans and the reality television industry to its core, revealing a hidden layer of tension and exploitation that had quietly existed behind the cameras for years. As the loyal brother of Amy and Tammy Slaton, he had become the linchpin of the family's public persona, a figure whose humor, honesty, and steadfastness provided balance amidst the chaos, turmoil, and dramatic personal struggles of the Slaton sisters, whose own lives had become a magnet for both viewers and media attention. And while Amy and Tammy often captured headlines with their emotional outbursts, health crises, and personal challenges, it was Chris who maintained the stability of the household, managing conflicts, mediating disputes, supporting his sisters emotionally, and even providing comic relief at moments when the tension threatened to overwhelm the narrative. And yet, despite his pivotal role in the show's success and his contributions that went far beyond what most cast members would be expected to give, Chris alleged that TLC had been